I want some more.
Look at little Goblin Jr. Gonna cry?
Nerdrotic.com.
What if I told you that Hollywood was still capable of making a superhero film without any fake woke marketing?
What?
A Marvel film without a single sign of the MCU, filled with a crapload of fan service, that thing that I like to call giving the customers what they want. What if I told you the actors in this film were talking about the film and not identity politics or regurgitating the latest virtue signal? Well, that day has arrived with Spider-Man No Way Home. Leave out all the woke crap and you get a film that's set to break actual box office records, not manufactured ones. Spider-Man No Way Home completely exposes the failure that is Marvel's fake woke marketing in 2021, and it is glorious. As MCU producer Nate Moore makes excuses for the Eternals, which we'll get to in just a moment, I don't want to bury the lead on this one. Spider-Man No Way Home is the second biggest opening of all time in the era of COVID, mask mandates, vaccine passports, fear porn, rapid tests that cost $300 that are a total ripoff. And sure, there are a couple of states that are still free, like Florida and Texas, and I can't wait to get to one of them. After seeing the film, which I liked and I'll review in a couple of days, it was nostalgia bait. It's also a return to pure escapism, although a brief one. But all of the goalpost moving turned out to be just that, bullshit. Just like a lot of us were saying. Spider-Man No Way Home opening day is the second best of all time, swings past $300 million global. Now, before I get started, I would like to thank everyone who has subscribed to this channel and supported me and my family throughout the years. We are creeping towards 400,000 subscribers, and this is way beyond my wildest expectations. And if you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so, because it really does help the independent content creators compete against the ABCs, the CBSs, the NBCs, the MSNBCs, the CNBCs, and the CNNs, the whole alphabet. That's what we're up against. Now, I tried to find the clip, but I couldn't, because I've done over 500 live streams on this channel. But a couple of years ago, I said that 2021 needed to be the year of the fan and fan service, that people were sick to death of woke Hollywood, and if they wanted to get some of that very large number of people they have been alienating over the last 4 years back, they're going to have to work just as hard as they did to alienate them in the first place. For all the Michigas exposition has endured during the pandemic, including streaming threats, day-and-date window crunching, older demos not showing up, local ordinances, and countless release date changes and eliminations, Sony's Spider-Man No Way Home arrives this weekend to save the day. The hope here is that Sony's theatrical window respecting release date not only jolts the worldwide cinema attendance population back into seats as we head into 2022, but also makes moviegoing a habit once again for the masses. No holiday distraction, Los Angeles weekend rainstorm, or alarmist news headlines will prevent people from heading out, especially the box office most reliable 18 to 34 crowd. And of course, the access media and the mainstream media will not mention the one giant elephant in the room: no woke marketing, no intersectional feminism, no MCU. While Spider-Man No Way Home is still 25% a Disney movie and they're going to make money for it, it's still going to expose the failure that was Marvel's fake woke marketing, something they're not going to give up on, although they're about to get a lot of evidence proving it doesn't work. I can hear you now. Their woke marketing isn't fake. It's actually woke, and you be right. Their belief in it is fake. I don't need to remind you that this is the same company that says believe all women, yet they fired the first little lady to step out of line. This is also the same company that likes to work and thank camps you concentrate in. This is what real success looks like, and if you want to see the difference between the manufactured success of the highly overpraised due to identity politics Shang-Chi, just take a look at my local theater here in Escondido, California, the IMAX Theater. These are the ticket sales for Shang-Chi on the Wednesday prior to its premiere, and here are the ticket sales for the Wednesday prior to the premiere of No Way Home. Now, this isn't one of the busiest theaters in the world, but this gives you a good example. These tickets are actually difficult to get.
That is what you call a crowded movie theater. I wonder how that happened.
Fans are expecting a smart sequel that raises the stakes in a way no other Spider-Man has, and they're happily going to get what they have been asking for. There's arguably more action in No Way Home than Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. It also has a better story, better character development, but I'll give Shang-Chi this one thing. It does have Marvel's Katie. And it's certainly easier to follow and has more heart than the Byzantine-plotted Eternals. Yeah, do you remember the Eternals? No one does, because Spider-Man No Way Home is making everyone forget about everything Marvel this year, which might be very convenient for Marvel. But recently, Nate Moore was out making excuses for the latest MCU disaster.
I think it was shocking. I think a little bit of that is expectation. Look, going out of Avengers Endgame, everything was a bit under the microscope. This movie was intended to be the first original after Avengers, and then COVID hit and everything changed. In the meantime, Chloe Zhao won an Academy Award. Wasn't an Academy Award winner when we hired her. Didn't actually hadn't made Nomadland when we hired her. So I think the expectation on that movie started to grow, right?
Wow. Yeah, great point.
No, that's not a good point. It's called an excuse. Chloe Zhao winning an Academy Award doesn't change how bad The Eternals was.
Oh, for sure. Like there was no Academy Award winner Chloe Zhao. It was Chloe Zhao who did the writer when we first hired her. She's fantastic and wouldn't take that decision back, but I do think the expectations changed. And I think people, because Eternals didn't have one singular source material that anybody really knew, people started to map on their fantasy version of what the movie was without really having any context of what the movie we were making was about. And then look, ultimately you make something and you send it out into the world to be judged, and it's judged.
You see what he did there? He blamed the fans for having their expectations too high, and apparently they did. They actually expected a story, and they didn't get one. All they got was diversity and inclusion and representation. And blaming Chloe Zhao's Academy Award, Nate, dog, that was a terrible movie. The costumes were lazy. The storytelling was lazy. It wasn't a love letter to Kirby as it should have been. It was a love letter to your brand new audience that you helped cultivate. You know, the one that doesn't buy your stuff. As far as the US-Canada prospects go, Sony is seeing at least $130 million at 4,325 locations, and Thursday previews starting very early at 3 p.m. with all the strength of IMAX and PLF screens. Rivals and Tracking see the opening much higher in the $175 million range, possibly even $200 million range, though everyone is high because No Way Home is the biggest movie they've seen tracking for quite some time, including the 3 previous MCU films that were absolute triumphs. Just a reminder, 2 of those absolute triumphs contributed to Disney losing $65 million. Hashtag Black Widow lost money. Yes, I know Shang-Chi has a sequel in development, and I predict if the sequel comes out, it'll be Shang-Chi and the rest of the Marvel Universe. Why are Rivals, and that is the company that makes the projections so high for No Way Home? Because pre-sales for the latest Jon Watts MCU title are at record levels. And it turns out these pre-sale records are truthful, and the previous pre-sale records we heard were all COVID pre-sale records. So basically we made this shit up. Here are some real records from Deadline. Saturday update, adding another estimated $67 million overseas on Friday. Sony Marvel's Spider-Man No Way Home has grossed an amazing $181.4 million at the international box office through yesterday without China, with domestics $121.5 million Friday, the second biggest opening day of all time there. The global total is already across the 3-century mark at $302.9 million. The absolute triumph that is Shang-Chi is the 22nd highest grossing film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Oh, wait, correction. 23rd highest grossing film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, thanks to Spider-Man No Way Home, or the 5th lowest grossing film, no matter how you look at it, and it made $417 million. Spider-Man No Way Home is set to surpass that in just 1 week. On opening day, I held a little watch party and a meetup afterwards, and I got to meet a lot of you out there, and we had a great time. The movie theater was packed. It was enthusiastic, and we all were talking about how long it had been since we seen something like that, partially due to the coof, and the other part is due to all the woke crap Hollywood has put out. So the question I was asked the most at the meetup and on Friday Night Tights last night was, is this a sign of change or is this just an outlier? Now, I don't want you to get too excited. There's still a long way to go. Hollywood tends to take something that's successful and use it as a mandate to get more woke. Just look at the MCU. Post-Endgame, Star Wars, Star Trek, Doctor Who, Marvel Comics, DC Comics, He-Man, The Last of Us Part 2, Game of Thrones, Westworld Season 2, Altered Carbon Season 2, Iron Fist Season 2. Currently, we have The Wheel of Time, and that's from Amazon. And based on everything we've seen from that, it's not looking too good for Lord of the Rings. And not to be a Debbie Downer, but it wasn't that long ago, Luke Skywalker made his triumphant return, and we all know what Disney did right after that. Our escapism has been poisoned by activism, and this has been deliberate. Razorfist recently discussed this in a live stream, and the important thing here is not him name-dropping yours truly in the quartering. It's what he said about what we do.
This is why I laugh when people say shit like, oh, you're just playing and reviewing video games. You're not really fighting the culture war. The implication being you need to be a political pundit. You need to be obsessed with adult things. You guys need to look up Antonio Gramsci. Gramsci is really the beginning of modern cultural Marxism. And Gramsci's stipulated that the purpose of taking over seemingly banal entertainment, at that time it would have been things like movies, plays, and such, is not to propagandize. It's to block off avenues of escape from politics. They want everyone political because as long as everyone's political, everyone's outraged. Which, in the Marxists' mind, which Antonio Gramsci was, this is ultimately going to spur the class conflict, and this fills the coffers of the communists, and down the road, it spurs the revolution. So I want to make this unequivocally clear. You can bash fucking The Quartering, Nerdrotic, whoever, the people who talk about the latest woke thing and then criticize it. They're doing more for the culture war and to stave off Marxism than pundits are.
Yes.
Straight up. Because the Marxist tactic right now is not to move politically. It's to move within the entertainment and cut off all escape. Gramsci believed that Great Britain, of all the countries on earth, was primed for a class struggle on paper. But he realized the revolution wasn't coming, and he basically decided that it was because people were relatively prosperous and they were distracted by entertainment. So if you actually cut the Marxists out, if you expose the corruption of the entertainment and expel them from it, you actually create avenues of escape for normal people. You know, you hear people say all the time, man, what happened even like 10 years ago? People just kind of minded their own business on politics and it didn't really matter. And now everyone's all keyed up on it. Well, social media is keeping us perpetually engaged to it. But more than that, the entertainment is having politics injected into it.
What we are calling out is the activists and the companies bending the knee to them. You see, they win either way. Either the thing that we love is completely subverted or destroyed. What do you think Bad Reboot meant last summer when they put this on Instagram and said things like no more white comfort?
Ah, that's racist.
I'm pretty sure all of you know this comic by now, and if you don't know the comic, you probably experienced it. You have a corporation which is making something for its loyal customers. And the customers are really pleased. They're excited. They just can't wait to throw money at the company. But then you have a moral busybody, an activist, someone with a megaphone because they have access to the mainstream media or they have connections with the mainstream media. And they say, I do not like the thing, and you're a bad person if you do not address the fact that I do not like the thing. So these are a very, very small minority of people. And when the company goes, all right, you know what, I'll change it just so you don't call me a bad person. Then the actual fans, they say, well, you know, this is not the thing we want. I'm going to look for a different thing. And obviously, like, the people who are really excited about the thing, they're also the ones that are very upset and can't articulate it properly. So the customer leaves. And then you also only have the activist, and the company goes like, hey, don't you want to buy the thing? It's like, nah, I'm not interested in the thing.
To go full YouTube inception on you, both the Razorfist clip and that clip come from lack of entertainment. The full video will be linked in the description. It's a great explanation of why we are all here, and I will continue to do what I do because, like I said before, escapism is important. If it wasn't, they wouldn't be trying to take it away. By all means, go out and create alternative forms of entertainment, but we still need to call out the woke garbage. But on that rare occasion when they do something right, I will praise them for it, and Spider-Man No Way Home was an enjoyable experience at the movie theater, and this is where I will reveal my secret agenda. I want Hollywood to stop dividing this country, stop subverting everything, stop filling your films with woke garbage, and then you'll do some real good in the world. You'll bring people together so they can forget their troubles for a couple of hours and just have a little fun. Now, I had my issues with Spider-Man No Way Home, and again, I will go over those in the future, but overall, I had fun. Everyone's noticed the shift in Hollywood, but it wasn't that long ago when films tried to appeal to as many people as possible, but this time Sony and Disney had to swing for the fences. There was a time when just one Spider-Man would be enough for a successful film. Now it's going to take three Peter Parkers, I might add. And sure, it's nostalgia bait, and I'm going to bite this time. My kid is excited, and this might be the one case where it could be a good thing. It will be the one thing we can point to when compared to the other abysmal Marvel films that came out this year. I don't think it's any coincidence that the most successful film in 2021 is the one that didn't have any fake woke marketing. I will be reviewing this film. It'll be out in the next couple of days. Until then, have a great day. If you like what you heard, please like, share, and subscribe. If you didn't like what you heard, I thank you for listening this long. I will see you in the next video.
Nerdrotic.com. Please subscribe.